to the Plan Podcast. Michigan's elite political podcast is about to begin, live from the birthplace of the Republican Party. Let's gather under the oaks like our forefathers did. Now more than ever, it's time to stick to the plan.
How's it going, guys? Welcome to another episode of Stick to the Plan Podcast. And that wasn't supposed to pop up yet, but it's okay. It is a Monday. Here we go. Whoop. There we go. That's what was supposed to show. It is a Monday. And as always, I'm here with Russ. How are we doing today, Russ? Yeah.
Always do.
Every
But
Monday.
I'm ahead of the curve on guests.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our guest today I had booked a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
I don't have anybody booked yet for next week, but you know
Okay.
how it is.
Yeah.
I'm working on
We'll
something.
figure it out.
We were just talking about playing phone tag with it right now. Cold day, Kevin.
Yeah, it's not nice out.
No, it's brutal out
It's
there.
been pretty bad for a week, but
I'm not feeling the greatest. Dude.
No,
I didn't
it's-
sleep well, and I don't know. I hope that bazooty ain't coming at me.
oh, it's
No, I'm
coming.
not
It's coming
sick
heavy.
yet, but-
It's coming heavy, that's for sure.
all right. Well, we're going to get right into the show
Let's
today.
do it.
Our guest today is the Livingston County Chair, Deb Drick. By the way, we do this a little bit.
What do you want?
So,
Okay,
you and I
okay,
like this.
okay,
So
all right.
it works well for us, and I
Okay.
understand. But yeah, we can have just a regular
Okay,
conversation.
Good.
And Deb, I brought you on the show for a specific reason, and we just met today,
We did.
but we've talked several times.
Yep.
Text. It feels like we know each other. Being a fellow county chair, we feel the same things.
Yes. You feel each other's pain.
We feel it. The good and the bad and the ugly.
Yes.
And my intent was to come on and talk about, and we will talk about what we feel, you and I, because you had expressed it over the summer, about what Axe My Tax would look like if on the 2026 ballot, and how or
Mhm.
maybe it could be hurt Republican candidates. So, but I only really want to talk 10, 15 minutes about it.
Okay.
I think you and I, coming from the same cloth, I love to talk about campaigns. I love to talk about elections. I love to talk about politics. And I just assume the show kind of goes in that direction.
I'll follow wherever you
Yeah.
lead. So, go
So,
ahead.
but Kevin will tell you certain things you get me going, and that's where
All
I'm at.
right,
But then
all
again, I
right.
can talk about anything. But let's talk about Axe My Tax.
Okay.
All right. And the founder of Axe My Tax, Carla Wagner, she's also a candidate for governor.
Sure.
Good for her.
Right.
It's something that I don't think I'd take on. But she started at first with a second round of a citizens initiative to get the signatures to eliminate all property taxes in
Right.
Michigan.
Right.
All.
Right.
All. And her first efforts failed, and she come back for their second efforts. And Deb, I got to tell you, the first time around, I wasn't as concerned as the second time around.
Okay.
First time around, the volunteers around the Jackson GOP. Some were in, some were out, some are all about it. But personally, I was like, yeah, you don't have a couple $1 million. Don't waste my time.
Right.
You know, and one big concern I have is I lost volunteers and some executive committee members in 2024 because they were so concerned with Axe My Tax. They didn't knock a door for Trump or any of our state house reps or anything. They were just focused on Axe My Tax. And then it didn't make
Right.
it. And so when it come around the second time, I was like, oh, I'm going to be a little outspoken about this, And I was asked to calm down on my outspokenness. And I did for a while until she kind of leveled out at me and Randy Guppy. So now we're in this little pissing match, which I prefer not to be in anymore.
No.
But you brought up in August, picture Axe My Tax on the 2026 ballot. We have an individual that at first was like, that could be the ballot initiative that brings voters out to the polls. Okay. And I disagreed.
I did too.
Then Citizens Only Vote initiative come out.
Yes.
Which is fire.
Right.
And that's the one that's going to turn voters out.
Agreed.
And that individual's kind of backtracked a little bit, started looking at the whole playing field of what's going on. So, all right, apparently Axe My Tax hasn't got these signatures yet to get it on the ballot.
That's what I understand.
And they're still circulating in the cold weather. For every day past 180 days, you take another day off the front end, and that was April and May.
Where they had the big, they're going to gain 10 and lose 60.
Yeah, because you're going day to day,
Right,
not signature to
right,
signature.
right.
It's very difficult to get signatures today.
Yes, it is.
So it's a desperate attempt. But let's say they get the signatures, and yep, it's on the ballot.
Right.
What do you think that looks like for Republican candidates?
Well, there's before I say anything more, the best possible situation that could happen if they get it, if the signatures are there and it's going to be on the ballot, is for the legislature to take it up instead.
Yeah.
Because if they pass a bill,
It goes away.
Or they can take a similar, or they can do it. And frankly, that might be okay because they would do it in a way that would work. And so there you go. They could they pass a bill and then it goes off the ballot. But if it goes on the ballot, my concern, now I have several. Let's list them. I love the idea. I have a podcast. I had Carla on my podcast, and I couldn't wait. I thought this is a great thing. This is going to be terrific. But the problem was I couldn't get questions answered.
Yeah, she won't even come on our podcast.
No, so. She did it remotely, and I don't like to do those, but all right. I mean, it was such a big topic. I had to do it. Yeah. So the right side is the right side Livingston is our podcast. And anybody can go look at it.
By the way,
watch it.
jxngop.org, and you can find that podcast on our website.
All right, good.
In case you forget the name of it, you go to jxngop.org, and we list a bunch of podcasts.
And we appreciate that.
You can go back in time.
All right.
Yeah.
But you can also go to the YouTube at the right side Livingston, and you can go find the one that she's on and watch it. I asked questions. So what about this? How does this work? Well, I don't know. I'm not an accountant.
Or I don't care.
know.
Let them figure it out.
They'll let them figure it out.
Right,
I heard a lot of that. I'm not a legislator.
I'm not a let them figure it out type of person.
No. I kind of asked her at the end. I said, so you're telling me that Lansing right now they're fighting out, they can't even get their own budget squared.
Right.
You're going to trust them to work at it? Right. What happens when we have this is what I told her was, if you're going to get that money replaced by Lansing, anybody that gets money from, whether it's the federal or the state government, it doesn't come without strings.
And money isn't free.
That's right.
It's just taking it from one area and grabbing it from another.
That's right.
And something that really got me going, but there's other issues since then, but was the lack of financial local control.
Yes.
And at the time, we were dealing with the state budget, in the schools waiting for a state budget.
Yep.
In order to do their budget for the year, I think it took a month for the state legislature to pass the state budget, which is by law they had to have done July 1st something like that.
Right.
And it didn't get done. Now they'll say, but this is a constitutional amendment. Well, revenue sharing from the state is a constitutional amendment also, and they just took 8% from, say, my township. Mm-hmm. I don't trust. It's funny to me. There's so many people that prefer to give more to Lansing or more to a big brother somewhere. Deb, I sit on township board leading into our budget time of year, July, when we pass our budget. there's a public hearing. No one shows up.
Nope.
The 7 people you elected that a lot of us are your neighbors, and they call on the phone and all this. We decide the budget.
Sure.
Because we hope that we're making the right decisions for the township. And we've got big budget. We got sewer and marijuana places and stuff. But I'd hate to give that to Lansing, and then we're waiting to pass our budget like the schools did.
Yes.
And I don't feel sorry for the schools, Deb. I don't. I think the schools get way too much money. But the point here is that's the way it's set up.
Yes.
And they're sitting there, can't make no decisions for their school year.
Well, I used to sit on a school board. I understood. It was really, really during the Granholm years where it was horrible. I mean, the schools, we'd be sitting there waiting, and you couldn't get you couldn't do your budget. We would turn in our budget, but we would have to wait to see what.
So they made a state law where it's got to be done, and they still didn't follow it.
No, they don't. Now that we had 8 beautiful years under Rick Snyder as governor, and they were done in by June, so everybody could play, and it was the best financial years ever. But the schools, as far as the schools is the other issue with the Axe My Tax as written. Now, again, I'm not against getting rid of property taxes, but first of all, when it eliminates all the millages, now you're talking your schools, and we all have our opinions on whether the
your
schools
public
get too
safety
much money.
and your municipalities,
right? But your school, that's bad. But your schools, your schools, when you start affecting people's kids, it stops. It's less Republican and Democrat at that point, and it becomes more parents.
And I know where you're
I mean, look at last year. Look at how the Democrats lost big time last year, and I still say it's because the Democrats were picking on the boys in the girls' bathrooms, the boys in the girls' sports. Even the Democrats of teenage daughters were they stopped being Democrats for a minute and voted away from that. But anyway, my concern is if you start cutting the budgets of the schools, which Axe My Tax would do, chop that budget. And of course, Carla, her answer to that was yes, they need to be chopped. They need to figure it out. And all I could think of was you have just now woken the beast, and the beast is the MEA,
Michigan Education Association.
They are the absolute. I mean, they are a dynamic, organized powerhouse arm, and right now they're getting what they want. They're fine. They're not. Nobody's bothering. Nobody's bothering them. They're not bothering anybody else. You cutting schools. Yes. Right now we are poised, I think, to take a big Republican red wave next year. The Democrats are unorganized. They're disorganized. They have the same terrible rhetoric as their message. I've never in all my years in politics have seen them like this. And I feel like, that organization, if the MEA stepped in and said, all right, we're taking over, and they're driving it, we don't have an organization like that that can compete with them. So I just as soon leave them alone.
And they're probably going to be involved in elections anyways. Sure. MEA always is, but you don't want to.
But not statewide like that. Here, little pockets here and there.
And the picture painted would be, say our nominee for governor or secretary of state or AG.
That's right.
They're supportive of this, and this is on the ballot, and they hate little kids, and that's the picture they're going to paint, whether it's true or not.
Well, they're going to get all the people to fight that Axe My Tax. They're going to get there to vote it down, and it's going to be just like Prop 3 in 2022 or whenever that was, 2022. Yeah. And all those Democrats are going to come out, and they're going to vote against Axe My Tax. And while they're there, oh, by the way, let's vote for the governor and the secretary of state.
They're going to turn the tables and turn that into their ballot initiative.
That's right. It's going to be a Prop 3 all over again.
And the fact that they don't have anybody to fight right now, they're content, actually tells me that they're probably itching for a fight anyway. So that's the last thing you need.
Constant commercials, Kevin.
Oh, God.
So-and-so hates public schools and vote no on Axe My Tax. Talking about questions that can't be answered, we have an executive committee member who the first time around was all in financially and physically.
Sure.
He was all in, and he walked away quietly.
Okay.
Things weren't going the way I want.
Sure.
Second time around, he's just out of it. But he was on another podcast that Kevin hosts, another political podcast we do out here sometimes. Oh, you don't host that one. Chris, no. But he said
Chris's?
something that never could be answered. and I already thought this, was the existing millages that have been passed.
Right.
Okay.
What happens to them?
They're just wiped out.
Yep.
So what do? Default? Do these school districts and municipalities default? Does the state save the day and bail them out? You still got to pay.
Because if not, they'll sue and they're all going to win. And
that's what's going to make the legislator probably take it up. Is they got to figure that out.
Well, they got to figure out, because it'll if it goes to the ballot. The whole point is let's not.
And I don't think it's going to.
Do I think that another proposal? I am still working on a second proposal with a group, and I'm being very quiet about it. But it's got a different formula. It will achieve the same goal without cutting the schools and without cutting the municipalities. I have a therightside.news.com. I did an article on this, and I explained and I gave examples. I used Livingston County numbers, and I took the complete income from Ask My Tax according to our county's property taxes, and I applied them to the county. What the proposal determines is necessary services, right? Which don't include the treasurer, which don't include the clerk's office. How are you going to do elections?
No.
So but I mean, it covers jail, and it covers drains, and it covers, what you think there. No admin, no nothing. So you and it still was 9 million in our county. We're in Livingston County. We don't have a big Jackson County city. We have Livingston County. We're rural, and we're still 9 million short.
I don't even know where we're at in Jackson.
So I mean, I can give you the formula. 17
billion statewide. That's a big nut to cover.
Oh yeah, for the Ask My Tax, it's 17. 15 billion.
Yeah. So I think of this all the time. We had a jail millage fail for the third time here in Jackson, and I think it was last year. And our county commissioners, I watched them. Oh. Well, we were counting on this, for other things. We this is going to eliminate road patrols, and we need some sort of road patrols. But I watched them take 3 hours one morning and go line by line on that budget to offset the shortage from the failed jail millage.
Right,
100,000 from the court, whatever they could, 100 here, 50 here,
right.
And that's their job. I watched them do it.
Right.
And because that's their money that's been collected through for however way. If that flow of money was different, that would tie their hands to maybe probably control that, is my concern. On top of what happens to those millages, another point. All right. I do not like the way millages are just thrown on a May ballot. Okay,
I don't either.
I voted. I was the only no vote on a public safety millage in my township because they wanted it on a May ballot. Yap. And okay, but that happens all the time. And regardless if you like that or not, they followed the rules and they won that millage. Okay, you can be mad about it all you want. Don't you disenfranchise the voters that voted for that millage just because you didn't get out and vote no. Doesn't mean that it should disappear. I think there's a voter disenfranchise method going on here if you just took them away from them,
I think so. I think that, and I don't know, legally, can you? I mean, that's like a legal contract, right? When a voter, it's sort of like saying, well, now we've decided to eliminate the county clerk. So you, county clerk, who was duly elected, we're going to just wipe you out now.
Right.
I don't know that you can do that to a millage because it's a duly elected situation.
They seem
I don't
to
know.
think you can.
Maybe.
I wonder that with you, Doug.
Well, I guess I'd want somebody other than, guessing at it, because like I said, Carla's answers to me, every one of them was, well, they'll figure it out.
She's so focused on getting the signatures and getting it on the ballot that she doesn't even want to hear.
Her only answer to everything is always, what about my mother's house?
And here's the thing. I invited her. I said, just step back from this thing. Let's work together on one that'll work.
Yeah.
Because one that will, frankly, leave the schools alone. That's a battle for a different day. Leave the millages alone. You don't have to pull everything. Leave the millages alone.
Move millage requests to even number
years.
And it'll slowly catch up to itself.
Yes.
Yes. Don't forget.
And I don't want. You could also put in a rule about anybody over this age. They can't lose their house because of taxes. That it just goes into into an arrears, and then when they die or when they sell, then there's a lien there.
We talked with Matt Wilk about it, and he didn't answer that very well. What about a lien situation?
Who did we talk to before about the lien situation? Was it one of the candidates for governor?
And did they say it wouldn't work for some
No,
reason?
that they were about it. I think it was Anthony Hudson.
And so did grandma losing their home or anybody losing their home?
Yeah, they had a plan for that.
Right.
Whether you sell or whatever you do or refinance, then you have to pay the lien back.
Sure.
That would settle that. I don't want grandma to lose her home.
No, nobody does.
I will say in Jackson County here, 95% of the properties that are foreclosed on are vacant lots.
Right.
Old businesses that went out of business and they just walked away. Granny losing her home doesn't happen very often. There was a lot of homes getting taken back in 2008 with the mortgage crisis, and part of that was property tax. We watched a lot of that around here, so did everybody in the state.
Yep.
But as far as property tax foreclosures, yes, I've seen it. But and it doesn't happen as much as the picture they want to paint. And then also they passed a new law to where if you owe $1,000 in property tax and they get $5,000, they have to give you that difference now.
That was a scam and a half. Before that, boy, they were. And I have to wonder how many. I'd never accuse anybody anything without proof, but I have to wonder how many of those townships or those municipalities allowed that number to inflate so they could.
I watched it in the township here in Jackson. It was quite obvious back in that day. I watched it. It was a beautiful farm, had some oil on it, and I do not know how or why there was a tax problem, but they played that out to the end and then sold the property. Yeah,
and then kept the difference.
Kept the money.
I've seen that before.
It was pretty shady.
So I mean, is there a reason? Is there a justification for an Axe My Tax-esque law? Yes. That
Definitely.
One just is. That was a failure. It was an absolute failure. It would have been a disaster. It's going to be a disaster if it passes. Yeah. So I mean, I guess and I feel bad because you got some really good people out there, beating the drum and saying, "Let's do it." It's a good thing. It's not a good thing. It will cause more problems than it will ever solve.
Well, it falls into, we've joked and talked about it, is the was it the goal, or a goal without a path is a wish.
Without a plan.
Plan is a wish.
Yes.
Was that Town Leonard that said that?
No, it was Matt Wilk. Last week or 2 weeks ago. Who the hell did we have on last week? I forget myself. Week after week.
Monica.
Oh, we did. That was a good show. Yeah. That was a good show. Well, we can, by the way, I've been saying this, decline to sign the Axe My Tax.
Mm-hmm.
Please, if you see it, I doubt you're gonna. It's pretty cool to be out doing this, but decline to sign. But there is one out there, citizens only vote.
Yes.
Find that petition and sign it.
Yes.
You can come to the Jackson GOP, 209 East Washington, Suite 320, downtown Jackson, and sign it. It's an easy sell.
I think I also understand there's going to be a statewide effort for the GOPs. They're going to be asked January 10th on Saturday. They're going to ask all the GOPs to have a COV signing day. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. That's my my party's strategic planning day. So I had to move that. But
they've got some real professionals running that, and I have seen when they promote things like us being a signing location, all of a sudden you get people. So them promoting a day where all of us are available to do that, I think would be really cool. It's every county probably had this advantage in the summer when we were at events. Mm-hmm. We would turn in stacks.
Right.
50, 60, 75 of them. Just stand there. They'd be lined up.
Sign. Well, it's a no-brainer. I mean, it's pretty simple.
And then the same volunteers that were circulating it were trying to circulate decline to sign ranked choice voting.
Oh, yes.
But we didn't see any of the events in Jackson. We didn't see anybody circulating.
We had the ranked choice voting in Livingston County all summer long.
Yeah.
That's another nightmare.
Oh yeah.
If I had to choose between that and Axe My Tax, I don't know which one. I don't know which one's worse.
Now that you say it, I'd go with the Axe My Tax. Maybe
I think I might. I don't know.
Move to Indiana.
Yeah, because I mean, how would you fix that to legislate that? That would be awful.
I do have this, and if someone's going to hear it wrong here, you know how it goes.
Spell it out.
Get it out. You'll feel better. Okay. I'm adamantly opposed to a ranked choice voting system.
Oh gosh, yes.
But I know of it. It's horrible.
Yep.
It's dumb. It's going to cost money. Every single county
Well,
clerk.
it's everybody's agreeing on her fourth choice. Is
Right.
what it is.
Every county clerk
Who
in the
wants their
state
fourth choice in there?
had unanimously said, no way. Even the Democrats, it's a horrible, horrible way.
It's horrible.
And the fear is probably that the Democrats are going to use it as a way to win elections, manipulate the elections through ranked choice voting.
Yeah.
And I don't doubt that.
How could you?
How is
Can
it
you
an
imagine
advantage
a
to them?
recount?
Yeah, how is it an
How
advantage?
would you do that? Every single, you got your fourth choice. Now everybody's fourth choice finally gets to 51%, and somebody wants a recount.
Reminds me of state
Yeah.
convention.
Yeah, worse.
I said,
Worse.
I said it reminded me it's going to be like the 2000 presidential election with the Florida hanging chad
Oh, yeah.
Right.
months and months out.
Weeks
and,
later,
oh.
it's going to be
Oh,
bad.
it's gonna be awful.
I will
nightmare.
say, if we're fortunate enough where we lived in a ranked choice voting state, Republicans are going to have to jump aboard and figure out how to use ranked choice voting to our advantage.
Oh.
We don't do that. We get mad that this has happened, and then the Democrats come out the gate
Yeah.
and beat us for a couple
Well,
cycles.
let's just work harder to not ever have to get to that point.
Yeah,
You know what?
exactly.
We do. But
It
boy.
kind of went away. Like maybe I wasn't paying attention. I'm like, good. I think it went away. That's not going. And then all of a sudden, the last few weeks, it's been popping back up. That it's out there, and I'm like, nah. I hope that I'm reading people that support it.
I've literally sat and wrote books of notes, 3-4 pages, trying to figure out how you could manipulate it, and I haven't figured it out because it doesn't make any sense.
The tabulation the same way I think they do it now. Anyway, so yeah, it's a bad situation.
Well, and that keeps machines forever, which I'm not. Deb, I'm not really scared of machines. I
I'm
was
not
just
either.
at the state committee meeting Saturday, and the biggest argument was the machines. I'm like, there are machines. It's us. Some people on state committee, I'm not big fans of, but I trust everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, but they're so mad over 2020 and the accusation that the machine stole the election, that any machine is bad.
That's right.
And it was way over an hour argument over it. Just the dumbest thing. I don't know why
Anthony
I go to those.
Ferlini had a good response to that. You pull the modems, shut the modems off.
Yeah.
And
I
then
like
you can't go
Anthony.
from. I do too.
So I've been,
I like all the
I do too.
candidates. I do. I like them all.
I've been, all right. I have decided on the AG candidate, but I
Okay.
like them both. Me and Kevin
Yeah.
like them both
Oh, very
really
much.
well.
Mhm.
Like, I think they're both winnable in the general. I just like them.
Yep.
I think it's a very strong field. I think either one could do the job well.
Yeah. SOS, I haven't made a decision, but I
I've-
did like, all right. Monica did well. We've had Monica on. We've had Amanda on. Amanda kind of had a little more details than Monica. It was weird. Maybe it's the way I was phrasing
No,
the
I agree.
questions.
No, she did.
And
She
then,
did
but I
mine
watched
too.
Anthony on your podcast. And I'm like, this guy's got the heat behind him.
Yes, I think, preferences aside, I'm looking at. I think just by what I'm hearing on the street, it's Anthony's to lose. So, I mean, at this point, he's got an edge. I don't know that it's a slam dunk,
Yeah.
but it's an edge. Mostly because he's got, all the experience. I mean, he is the clerk.
Yeah.
He is a
So if you have
For a large county.
and here's the other thing, I don't play checkers when it comes to elections. I play chess.
Yeah.
So because we're really not, any of those three candidates would be a good candidate, right? They're
Yeah.
all three conservative.
They
all
are.
three would work hard. They'd all three vote the way we want them to vote. They'd all do the improvements. Okay.
Yes.
They'd all clean up the voter rolls. They're not saying anything different than the other one.
It's true.
But more than likely, Barb Byram is going to be.
And you know what? That's no joke.
She is going to be. Yes, she is no joke.
That's no joke.
She got a little baggage there right now, but I think
She's one of them Democrats that baggage won't matter.
It's like that. It's like the cockroaches survive
Yeah, right,
the
yeah.
the
Nuclear blast.
Right. There you
Yeah.
go.
We got to
So
think about those things.
She is going to. I feel like absent some craziness, she's going to be the nominee. So you got to look at which one of them has the best shot to beat
Yep.
Barbara.
That's
And
it.
so you've got two women and a man, and like I said, all three of them are good candidates. But I line up Monica, I line up Amanda, either one of them against Barb, and you've got good, solid conservative stuff. But she has the edge being a clerk, right?
Yeah, she does. So
And
he
so
would too then.
You got You got
She's
Anthony.
She's the Ingham County clerk.
She's the Ingham County clerk. So you got Anthony, who not only is a clerk, but he's got that charm and personality that comes around the corner 5 minutes before the rest of them does.
He's beat incumbent Democrats 3 times.
3 times.
3 times.
Yes.
Unheard of.
It is,
It's
especially in Macomb County.
Sure.
So
that is a tough county.
But then again, here's the thing. He is a clerk. So you got clerk versus clerk. And then he was a legislator at the same,
That's
as well.
right.
So
and I knew that, but I was reminded that on your show. I'm like, that's right. He was a state legislator.
I think if, like I said, I will take any of the candidates. I'll be happy with any of them. So, and in our party, we don't, the chair doesn't endorse in a primary. So we can't do that. But like I said, I'm just looking at, for me, I really would urge voters and delegates as they're making this decision, and you might have a point that I didn't make, and that's okay. I'm not locked into anything, but I feel like weigh it out, not against each other, because any of the 3 of them would be fine.
Yeah.
Who's going to have the best shot
of winning
side to side with Byram?
I like the clerk versus clerk angle of that. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's
Barb tends to be a little bit of a hard case. She's serious, she's driven, everything else. So you're going to have, I think,
Democrats
Tony,
look to her a lot when it's something. That's a tough one to people need to remember. She's going to be their nominee.
Yes,
and that's dangerous and going to be a problem.
That's the way we got to look at this stuff, is who is going to, if we have an obvious nominee. Now, like I said, either one, any of them win, I'll get behind them, and I could live with any of them.
Deb, I'm a Republican like you.
Yep.
I am circle the wagon with the nominee.
That's right.
Full steam ahead. I have publicly, without saying the words, supporting a candidate for governor, but every single one of the rest of the candidates, primary candidates, know that I'm going to be there.
Oh yeah, every one of them
during the general. I will be there. Kevin knows that. I'll deliver 2,000 yard signs on my own. I mean,
sure.
It's just I will be there, and I do like the fact that they understand that, because they do know where I'm leaning. But we got good candidates for governor.
Yep.
Solid.
I will say, so Jackson's kind of a Eric Nesbitt county. And I didn't know why until somebody explained. Years ago, Congressman Wahlberg, our congressman, his first term, he lost. He only served a term and he came back. Eric worked for him in his office. He was his legislative head guy, whatever that you call him.
Yep.
And so many in Jackson that have been around a while remember that there's a little bit of a loyalty. But I was talking to a county commissioner who's been around a long time. And he's all about Eric. But he said, he goes, Ross, all of a sudden I'm keeping my eye on Mike Cox. And I'm like, I wasn't either, but I am now. I am keeping a close eye on Mike Cox. And
I think that's a wise thing to do.
I think you're right.
I will tell you something. Mike
He's won statewide elections.
Twice. Against Dems, yes.
Twice.
And he was on our podcast. On my podcast, we have a rule. We don't ever, candidates are not allowed in any way, shape, or form to run down another candidate.
Yeah.
But he kind of, in a funny way, put his toe against the line there. He kind of said, well, I'm going to go put my toe against the line. He goes, because out of all of us, I'm the one who actually beats Gary Peters.
Yeah. Yeah.
I regularly say when you hear about a candidate like helping out another candidate or whatever, but the first candidate had lost, I always say that. I'm like, why would you listen to him? He lost. Like, why are we following in his footsteps? Right.
So
no, but he did I know he he was on our podcast, and he gave he had some really good ideas. And this is what I know. I remember him as an attorney general, and I will say this. Now, don't get me wrong. I thought Tom Leonard is a great speaker.
Yeah, I did.
I think Eric Nesbitt is a great, minority leader. I John James, if John James is the nominee. Problem is, the guy doesn't show up to anything.
He doesn't come anywhere you try and try.
He's not responded to my request for a podcast.
I did see he was at the Christmas
I saw
GOP
that. Yeah,
Christmas party in Macomb, but that's his backyard.
I
couldn't get him here.
I can't get him in mine either. I've got everybody else. But what I do remember about Mike was, he was a badass attorney general. He really was. He got the job done.
I had to be reminded of his efforts as Attorney General. I had to jog my memory, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember.
He did some initiatives, and he's not one to pat himself on the back. He like,
he's a soft-spoken guy.
He is, but he lets his actions speak for him. So don't get me wrong. Like I said, I love Eric Nesbitt. I love Tom Leonard. So but yeah, Mike Cox is. Don't count him out.
No, I say keep an eye. When that county commissioner told me that, I'm like, it's funny because I'm kind of feeling the same thing. Keep an eye on Mike Cox, and he's everywhere lately.
He's coming to our Christmas party on Thursday. Yes,
yeah, we have our Saturday. I haven't reached out to him too hard. I think a couple of candidates for SOS are coming by. It's a freebie. It's not a fundraiser.
Ours is a freebie too.
Yeah, we got the old ladies making money
at our strategic planning on.
I'm going to do that.
What's that?
Strategic planning.
Well, let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that.
I'll tell you what. I started it 2 years ago. I'm going to do our third one. Best thing we ever did in the party. Best thing.
How well is participation?
Well, it's funny because we had a situation, and I'm not going to go into the drama of it, but we had a situation where not me, but one chair took over for another chair. There was a big fight. It was like an identical Christina Caramo kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Good times.
Yeah. Anyway, and I was asked to be the elections chair at the time. So I said I would do it because, that's where my heart is, the candidates. So I had advised the incoming guy, the new guy, the one that kind of took over. And here we got this big division. Whoosh, it's like Michigan State in there. And I said, let's do a strategic plan. Let's get everybody on the same page. If you get everybody participating, it's going to help.
Skin in the game.
Game. So we did. And we had at least 65 people at our first one. We were smart and gave a breakfast first. We got a breakfast sponsored by some of the candidates. Okay, fine. So we gave them breakfast first, and there was like 90, but 65 of them were stuck around. And at the very beginning, we did, the mission statement. And if you've ever been through a strategic planning, the mission statement is the most grueling thing because you wordsmith everything.
I have been through one.
Once you get the mission statement, though, it's like the angels sing.
That's your guide.
Finally, that's it. But that's your guide. You're right. That's your guide. The rest of your life that's your mission statement. And at first, like I said, you had one side over here, Michigan, and one side over here, Michigan State. They weren't talking. By the end of the mission statement, they were running around high-fiving each other, and
so
we broke everybody up into small groups, and they worked together.
I asked that.
It ended.
All right, we don't go blindly into the year. But we don't have a everybody participate strategic plan. And I asked about participation. I've got a small group. I could cure cancer tomorrow. They'd be still mad at me.
Yep.
And but then I think I talked to someone else everybody knows in the state, and he's like, Russ, when's the last time you reached out to those people and had a conversation? I said, I'm usually so mad at them. It's been a while. That might help bridge that gap. Everybody's got skin in the game. So I'm really considering it. I'll be honest, Kevin knows this. So I used to be the treasurer, and we had a chair who was just a control freak, just unbelievable, right? And we got rid of him, and I was vice chair for a month, became chair, and I always thought, well, I don't want to be like him. Well, you get beat up so much that you find yourself being a little bit like him. You're almost better off to be a bit of a control freak, and I don't want to be that, though.
Screw it, I'll do it myself.
Then again,
I know I'm doing it right.
If everything goes to hell, I'm sitting there hanging on to the bag. If we do it as a group, we fix it as a group.
Well, it's really hard to argue with a direction when everybody has weighed in on it. And I took over in January, and again there was some tension. And I'm not a drama person. I'm not a drama lover. I intensely dislike drama.
I understand that.
And it, we set our goal at the beginning of last year that we wanted 80% turnout in the get out to vote effort.
Nice.
We made 79.9.
Ooh.
And we had a beautiful year in Livingston County. And I want to do that again. But my first statement to everybody was the vision I have for 25 and 26 was everybody side to side, locked arms, facing east. And that's what we say. We're all marching east. You don't like somebody in the party, that's fine. We're not telling you have to like everybody. Go stand over there. Yeah. They're over here, you go over there. Let's lock arms. And if we're all moving east, you won't see the person you don't like or that you can't live with. Just keep moving east. And the person that turns around and starts moving west, you got to let them go through. Let them go through and let them go that way. We're just going to keep marching east.
So
And that
if you-
becomes the statement then when we start to see things. Nope, let's keep together. Let's go east.
Let's
We're
take the
moving east.
Mike Rogers issue, for example.
Okay.
The people that are absolutely hell no Mike Rogers. I am not that kind of Republican. I
No.
am not. It's why we're dealing with Alyssa Slotkin right now.
It is because people, yep.
And I don't have an overabundance of those people, but I have members that are in that camp. So how do you lock arms and head east together with something like that hanging out?
Well, they
there?
have to understand. They have to understand the bigger picture. And sometimes they feel like, well, on principle, I'm not going to vote for somebody I'm not good for. And my statement is this. The primary is made for Republican on Republican. It is made for you to fight for your candidate,
Yep.
for your candidate to fight for himself,
What do I always
for
say,
you
Kevin?
to showcase why you're the guy, right?
Yep.
But the general is made for you to fight the Democrat.
It's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's how it boils down. And for you to still fight the Republican, that means you are fighting for the Democrat.
This is where the division comes in. I'm like, okay, why are you active, an executive committee
That's
member
right.
or whatever, in a Republican Party when you refuse to support the nominee?
Oh, yeah.
It's beyond me. I only have a couple, but they're very vocal. And I wished I could figure out a way to overcome that.
There's not a Republican candidate out there that's not better than the Democrat that would get elected if you don't vote.
Alyssa Slotkin.
That's how it works.
Yeah, right.
Yes. And so, I'll tell you, I had a recent conversation a couple months ago with a friend who was upset for whatever his reasons were with Bill Schuette. He said, didn't like Bill Schuette. He says, but I didn't vote for him as governor. I voted for Whitmer. I was horrified. And he said, he wouldn't have done this. He wouldn't have done this. He wouldn't have done this. And my answer to this was this. Do you know what he would have done? He'd have signed Republican bills. Every one of them. He'd have signed those bills. Whether he'd have done this or that doesn't matter. Because I'll tell you who didn't sign them was Whitmer. Right. We got no Republican bills signed in the last 7 years because enough people didn't like Schuette.
Right.
Vote for the Republican candidate. It's not just about, let's just say Mike Rogers is the rhino that everybody thinks he is. Okay. Let's just say that.
By the way, he's been messaging great lately.
Oh, he's been terrific.
Unreal.
Yes. But let's just say he is. I'm not saying he is, but let's just for the sake of argument here. Here's how this plays out. His win, if he is the nominee, which I don't know how he couldn't be, but okay, let's just say, say he's the nominee, and people say, oh, well, I didn't want him. I wanted Genevieve, or I wanted, Bernadette. Yes. So I'm not going to vote. Well, here's what happens. If that seat isn't grabbed by a Republican, not only do we not get a Republican in the Senate representing Michigan for 1,100 more years, but
Senate seats
what
last
happens,
6 years, and they tend to do
they're
multiple terms.
They're also close. So what happens is we might lose majority. That means you've got a Democrat Senate majority leader. And this is what most people don't understand.
Trump agenda.
Goodbye. Trump has no power the rest of his term because you will not get anything through the Senate. The Senate majority leader is the one with all the power. So let's just say Mike Rogers is pro-choice and anti-gun. Let's just say it. He's not, but let's just say he is. And we send him there. It doesn't matter because he will, as a Republican, will keep majority. A Republican majority leader will be picked. That majority leader is going to be pro-life and pro-2A.
Oh, yeah.
So it doesn't matter what Mike or any other rhino that you think of wants. He can come up with all the the gun control laws or the abortion laws he wants to. That Senate majority leader will never let him see the light of day. So it doesn't matter. You've got to get, if there's no other reason, it's so the in the House, the Speaker controls everything.
Yes.
And the Senate majority leader controls everything. That's both on a state and a federal level.
Sure is.
So vote your Republican, whoever it is, vote it. You need majority.
That person is a rhino.
Okay.
Under the scenarios that you said. What happens in politics, and this is what people don't like, is politics. Politics is a game here. You got it. You can't. you got to deal with it. You got to think it through. So let's say he is pro-choice and anti-gun. He's not going to vote that way because they all want to sit in leadership or on certain, there's a pressure going on there. And I'm not saying that he is. I'm very much doubt that he's any of those that we said.
No, he's not. But even if he was, it wouldn't matter because the Senate Majority Leader would never let an abortion bill or a gun control
that's right.
bill
It's not going to get passed.
It'll never get through a committee. I mean, let's say Mike rips off 10 gun control bills his first month.
They ain't going nowhere.
They're going to get signed to a committee, and that's where they're going to have a long, lonely funeral.
And they might not even get heard at the. They might not even get heard on the committee.
They will never get heard on a committee. Yeah. No, that's and it's a shame that more people don't understand the process of the government and how it works. But if they did, they would feel a lot less angst about this.
Debbie just said something to me. Some of them don't understand the process or how it works, or look at things strategically.
That's right.
And that's fine. Some people are better at that than others, but those that are good at explaining the strategic end of things, could you please hear them out? Is my point. Yeah. You can be mad all you want over an issue. So be it. It is what it is. And then here's the thing. There's two other candidates for U.S. Senate. Fight like hell in the primary for your candidate. Hey, you want Bernadette? Y'all better get.
That's what it's for.
You better get some juice going. You better find some money, and y'all better organize. And y'all got a lot of work to do.
There's nothing wrong with Bernadette at all.
You're not putting enough into it to get your candidate across the line.
Right
Now, what bothers them is they feel, and it's probably true, too often we're plopped in the candidate. That's your candidate. You got nothing to say about it. Well, in a way, we do right now with Mike Rogers. It's up to you to pick one of those other two candidates and go at it.
Yep.
And then when those two candidates, if they don't make it, end of story. You move on. Especially if you're going to belong to. Are you trying to change the Republican Party from within? Mm-hmm. To me, that's not why you should be here. I reference my Republican voting neighbors all the time. I live in a Republican area, and they may say, I know about that Mike Rogers. I remember back in the 90s. Yep. Mm-hmm. As much as I'm concerned with that, and I would try to make them look at things differently, they're not members of the Republican Party.
Right.
They're just voting Republicans. It's a different level. Why are you here unless you really want? If your candidate doesn't make it to the general.
That's right.
But I do wonder about that strategically. Here in Jackson, when I announced that we're renting to the Mike Rogers campaign, I didn't give him a choice, Deb. I said, this is what we're going to do. You could have heard.
Well, of course, if Mike Rogers, doesn't make the primary, then okay.
We'll be out of here in August. I'm hoping.
What I'm saying is whoever does win will get it. So you're still supporting.
Oh, they're moving in January.
Okay, all right. Well, so
that does bring up a concern, a legitimate concern. So are we endorsing Mike Rogers because he's up here sharing office space in the primary? No, it doesn't. Jackson County can endorse with a request. We never do. We never do. No. The only endorsement they've ever given was when I asked for one in the township race. And by the way, that was unanimous. So that's good news.
All right, good news.
It doesn't exist. We would probably not endorse. It's financial. It is. Plus, Deb, here's the way I look at it. I learned during Trump Force 47 that was here. We're like many counties. We have limited resources. Money is always a problem, on and on and on. And resources meaning all kinds of resources. We now have resources, not financial, but you've seen the resources. Sure. All right, you take the Mike Rogers campaign. It's going to be one of the largest campaigns in the country. In the things that are coming through Michigan, it's going to be similar to Trump in 2024.
Yep, agreed.
And that provides us a path to be relevant in elections.
It does.
And so while we're out, I've already talked to the Rogers people about this. While we're out knocking doors for our state rep to retain her seat and one we're trying to flip, we can't afford $10,000 a month through I-360 like Oakland County does.
Sure.
But we can do like Trump allowed us to do and use their app. And while we're out there, give out voter guides to also promote the down ballot people.
Sure.
It's a resource that we just wouldn't have. I'm sure there's 10x votes and there's a lot of I got Surus all over me. Have you had approached by Surus yet?
No. And
that's 10 grand, and they have a method of data collecting, data use. It's cool, but it's 10 grand. So that's my thought to Roger's campaign, or whatever campaign that I know is going to be significant. Bottom line is they're coming in January, and well, now I don't know what level they're going to use this place. Probably more after the primary, but we have plenty of room to do it.
We've got Tom Barrett, in our district, and he is the number one congressional fight in the country.
It is.
And so, we're hoping, I know they're going to open up an office in Howell in Livingston County, which is kind of the heart of it. And our office is in the southern end of it, but it borders that Washington area too. So he's welcome to use our office,
Yeah, we're down there.
We're
down the road from Tim Wahlberg, and he doesn't need to use this, but they can use this up here anytime they want, and they know. And
we also have Brian Ignatowski. Trying to take over. Matter of fact, I got a meeting with him next week. We're going to do our strategic
By the way, that
plan.
Seat takes in one township of Jackson
It does. We're going to need your help in Waterloo.
When Wolford ran for that seat before moving over, boy, we cut him a big check, but we had some real active members in Waterloo Township.
Okay.
And we wrote a lot of big checks to a lot of candidates, and then Jason lost, and I was like, there was. Well,
let me tell you something. Brian is working it. He's working it hard.
In that second time around, Brian is working it.
Yes. Well, the first time he worked it, but he announced about 8 minutes before the deadline. Yeah. He had told me that he was originally supposed to run for a township, but we had nobody for the 48th. And he told me, Deb, if you can't find anybody, I'll do it. All right. So we got somebody. We had nobody because Wolford moved over to the 50th. So anyway, so that was so here I got.
And by the way,
I got four.
Wolford's killing it.
I got 4 candidates running in the 50th, and nobody in the 48th. I could have died. Wolford just got named. He is amazing. He got named by MERS as a freshman legislator of the year.
He is amazing. He for being a freshman.
Yep.
Oh man, he's killing it.
He came out swinging.
Yeah. And then you have a career in the state legislature.
I did. Yep. I had been. I served as the chief of staff in both House and the Senate through 3 different governors. Oh. I have been in the minority. I've been in the split, and I've been in the minority. And I'll tell you what, the split and the minority stink.
Yeah, imagine
the majority.
So you know how the system.
When I say go knock, I mean it.
Yeah.
I know it all. I know how it works. And when I tell you about how the worst Republican governor candidate in the world, whoever you hate the most, if they're signing those, and that's what I told the friend of mine when he said he voted for, I said, you're telling me how much you love Jason Wolford and everything he's doing. Ask him how many Gretchen Whitmer has signed, and I'll tell you something right now. Whether you like Bill Schuette or not, he'd have been signing every one of Jason's bills, and he kind of went, I never thought about that.
Jason's throwing them out there all the time, man.
He is, and some of them are making it through, but some of them, she's not going to sign. So, hopefully we'll all deliver. We'll all deliver the trifecta next year, all 3 chambers, and then
we have to.
We're gonna,
we have to.
Brian never made it down to Jackson last time.
Well, like I said, he kind of got in 8 minutes out of the deadline. So.
I don't blame him. He's only represent one small township. Jason, when he ran, he was down here all the time, but I think he knew in the back of his mind we were probably going to write him a check.
Well, we have to get what he's planning on giving down here. He and I are going to meet Monday, and we're going to do his week from today. We're going to do his strategic plan.
And if my people get to know him and say, hey, that's the seat we need to have. We're in a fortunate position now where we weren't.
They like Jennifer Conlon there.
Even if we're not up there knocking doors, which by the way, some will. We have some serious ones.
Sure.
But we can help financially a little bit.
Absolutely.
I would love that. He does represent one of our townships.
You know what? I'm going to hook you 2 up. I'd like bring him on the podcast. Brian is personable and he will talk about
love that.
Oh yeah. All right. Let me when I meet with him Monday, I'll make sure I give him your number.
I know you're a little familiar with Senator Lindsay. Senator Lindsay represents 4 townships in Jackson County.
Okay.
And then it goes west all the way to Lake Michigan.
I like his bills. I recently reviewed some of his bills just to see what he was about, and I like he does reforms.
Yeah.
And I love reform bills. I love them. So and they're tougher to do because you gotta fight a what. And for me, just a little bit of my background. I have the most unusual master's degree in the world, and it's called Culture Change Leadership.
Oh yeah.
And it was a fascinating study. But what it really gave me an insight on is how to get people's brains from A to B and the stages.
Yeah.
So in the legislature, it really helps because you can help shepherd what you understand what the hurdles are for people to change. Right. So reforms for me, it's just a big pile of change for me.
So with Lindsay, and he's been on our show, he's a friend of us, ours. Jonathan makes it over to every other executive committee meeting, always comes to one of our events, and for only representing 4 townships, that says a lot. Yeah. You can call him on the phone anytime, and he won't answer immediately. He always calls you back. And he has this ability because he is a far right legislator. He is a far right, but he once explained it to me, the Ron DeSantis effect. He kind of has that. He can talk to somebody middle of the road or even a little left and not come off as a crazy far right person, but still preach his message. He has this ability about him that's too many don't have. We really appreciate. Now, Jackson, prior to redistricting, we had the Senate Majority Leader, Mike Shirkey.
I remember
we only had 2 state house seats, and we controlled both of them. Sure. Those were gravy days. Those were good times. And personally, I wasn't a huge Mike Shirkey fan, but I'll tell you what, I didn't go out of my way to destroy him like he was destroyed. I didn't stop it though. Personally, there's a high probability he would have been our governor during COVID.
I agree.
Be careful what you ask for, because Mike Shirkey would have been a better governor than Gretchen Whitmer.
Again, that's what I keep saying. It doesn't matter what you think of the Republican candidate. The governor has one job, whether he supports us or the governor has one job: sign a Republican governor, sign Republican bills, and a Democrat governor has also one job: sign Democrat bills. Which do you want in office? Do not play games with your. He
might not have. Shirkey might not have been. What some people would have wanted through the COVID maneuver, but he'd have been a lot better than Gretchen Whitmer.
I was just going to say, let's compare.
A lot better than Gretchen Whitmer. Plus, you have better access to him. But
I think I would have, if Jeffrey Dahmer would have been Republican, I would have resurrected him and put him in.
I'm always afraid that too many people forget about COVID. I don't blame them for forgetting about it. But when even myself, when somebody reminds me of a ridiculous order that we were under, I'm like, let's not forget that. Kevin and I worked together over in Chelsea. We worked third shift. We had to go to work with a piece of paper saying we're allowed on the road.
I still have it because I'm like,
now no one ever asked it.
No,
but
but we had to drive on the highway. So
that's right. We had to have it with us, and our employer, we were whatever would they call it, necessity.
Yeah, we were
it's
exactly.
But gosh, I wouldn't want to go through that again. If I want to get in my car and drive somewhere at 11 o'clock at night. Who are you to stop me?
That's right.
I
know that was a mess.
It is a hindsight thing, or I'm like, wow.
So I have a technical question. Do you ever get to your questions, or do they just kind of store up? No.
Yeah.
Really?
So
we don't have any. We only have one question. Okay. Everything else is they're just.
You do really good at that.
We get them all.
The only question I have is, I'm assuming it may be from your husband. Is his name Jay?
Yeah.
He says, how many snowmen does it take to correctly decorate a Republican house in Livingston County?
1,100.
1,100.
Yes.
And
that was on Facebook.
Yes.
What you're looking at is Rumble and YouTube, they're just.
So no questions, just comments.
No, just comments.
You get a lot of them.
Oh, I do, and I get a lot of, but we address all of them.
I chime in just to mess with.
Oh no, and that's fine. I'm glad you do.
I'll forget,
and we answer every
you
one
do.
Of yours.
I'll forget, and I'll be going through my page. It's that time of evening. I got time. I'm going, and I'm like, oh, right here.
Honestly, all the people in the chat right now are all people from my other podcast.
So Kevin runs another significant show. It's not political in nature. It's entertainment value.
Okay.
A little political.
Okay.
Sometimes.
And he's done that for several years. And so a lot of his followers jump in
Okay.
Yeah.
through Rumble.
Okay.
Yep,
All
yep,
right.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just
They're
curious.
support. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
watching them go along, and I'm thinking, are we?
Oh
gonna
yeah,
get
if we had
together?
any, if we
All
had any questions, I would have
You-
brought it
okay,
up,
all right,
but I
okay.
haven't seen any yet.
You told me your live viewer count one time back in the summer, and I was like, "Whoa, that's amazing."
We have
Ours
yeah.
is all in the
replays,
replay,
a lot of replays.
Facebook.
Yeah, we have we get most of ours through
And maybe it's because it's 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah, we'll get you know, we'll get a goodly amount on the live, but then the
Yeah.
next morning
Yeah.
on the way to work and the next on the way home from work, we get spikes, for
Oh,
the next few
absolutely.
days.
Yep.
And then like today, I was talking about Axe My Tax, and I said on my podcast, The Right Side Livingston, go there, you'll find that interview. Tomorrow there's gonna be
Yeah.
a spike on that
Yeah,
one.
You
yeah.
go
Oh,
back
by the
in
way,
time.
that is in the
I was looking
description
a
and
minute
in the
ago.
chat.
I did a presentation for our party, and I show it every once in a while on the podcast, and I call it "Stay thee not home, rather hold thy nose and vote." And it's basically the whole statement about the whole bit about with a PowerPoint and everything about why you need to vote for the primary winner.
Yeah.
And so I was looking for it a second ago to see if I had
I
it on the
am
news.
very
I don't.
interested in bringing you back for a candidate
Yep.
training.
Well, let me tell you how I
course.
do it.
Um,
Let me tell you how it works. And what I do is this, and I've got other counties wanting to do this too, so it's fine. What I'll do is I charge only for the materials. I'm looking at $20 a person. They'll get a book, they'll get materials, they'll get whatever else will show up. I do not want the party paying for it. I want the person to pay for
put
it.
skin in the game.
Put skin in the game. Now, if the party, once they've taken it and they actually enroll if the party wants to reimburse them that $20, then that's fine. They have to pay for it. So, and I'll take them through a full day, or I'm sorry, a full evening. Usually, I could do a Saturday or Sunday if they wanted, but usually I do from like 5:30 till 9. And I will put them through all the basics. And when you leave, you will have, and then I can do a part 2, which is basically the advanced stuff. Now you know how to start. You know how to get going. Let's talk about the strategy.
They have their struggles big time in Lenawee with participation, but we have a good relationship with them, and a lot of times we'll get a good handful of them to come up.
If you want a partner,
they like our resources that the connections that they don't have. I think about us not having connections. Well, we have more than they do, and then Monroe County. I'm really close with Monroe County, but it's a distance.
Yes.
In my relationship is Todd Gilman. Me and Todd Gilman are best buddies. And he's the 5th district chair.
I'd be happy to go there too.
And so I don't know if they'd come over, but let me tell you, they're hitting their marks in Monroe County.
Good.
And I could see them being interested in something like that.
Well, I will tell you what happened to us. When I started, as I said, early on, there was a big turnover. I was asked to be elections chair. Okay, fine. I look at my role. I look at the empty slots, right? There are 30 empty local slots to fill, including 1 state rep. And, like I said, council members, library members, township trustees, supervisors, clerks, treasurers, the bit. 30 of them. I've got no bench. Yeah. No bench
Luckily,
whatsoever.
Some of them are off our plate this time around.
The problem is with that was for us was if they wouldn't have been filled, that'd have been 30. We have no Democrat electeds. None. So not one. We are in red Livingston County.
Wow.
So, and I was not on my watch going to allow the first Democrat to get unchallenged.
Jackson County's pretty red. Our county commission is 9 people, and 7 are Republicans, and then 2 Democrats. The city of Jackson is blue, like many cities. And the reason why I bring this up is this dilemma that I have right now. Is a lot of people want to go after, find a candidate for mayor. All right. It's total liberals on our city council.
Right.
Okay. One, it'd be difficult for a Republican leaning, because they're nonpartisan, Republican leaning candidate to win any position, especially mayor. Yep. And even if we did, what good are they going to do? Because we're not going to find, they stagger. So we're not going to find a candidate for each one. So I hate to say it, but it goes back to what I've said. Sometimes the truth hurts. Resources. Okay. All right, depending on who the candidate is, we do have a longtime young man might run for mayor. We're not going to ignore him. But how much resources are we going to put into that when I have a state house seat, that she's on her going into her third term, but it's a +2 Dem seat.
Yeah.
Kathy Schmaltz, she's good at winning it.
She's going to get the
wonderful.
powerhouse.
But we
Wonderful.
have to protect her.
You have to protect her.
And then
She's
for
awesome.
once in a dozen years I've been around, we've had a candidate come to us to run for 48, which has been held by a Democrat since redistricting.
Yep.
And I think it's winnable. So I'm like, all right, guys, I hate saying that, but how much resources are we going to put into city elections when these races are a lot more important? Right. Thankfully, we don't have county commission on our plate anymore.
Right.
That used to be every 2 years.
2 years now.
So county commission, prosecutor, clerk, we don't worry about for a couple of years.
All presidential.
Yep. And so, not to say I don't feel like I have the weight of the world on my shoulders.
Right.
I'm like, I try to sort through, all right, Mike Rogers is going to be here. Mike Rogers is going to be fine with or without us.
Right.
I got to slim it down and look at those house seats.
Right.
Look at them house seats. And I know people don't want to hear that. Hopefully.
Well, for us, like I started to say that I had 30 open seats.
Yeah.
And I was terrified that the Dems were going to just give,
Eat them up. Yeah.
So I thought, well, I got to build a bench. So I put out word, and social media and email based, and basically said, we're going to have if you're even thinking about running at some point, let's come and have the conversation. We're not going to pressure you. I had hoped to get 10 or 11 people, thinking maybe I get 3 to say yes, three to think about it.
Those are good numbers.
3 no. Yeah, I thought great. I had 45.
Oh my!
Oh wow!
God.
Yeah.
And then I had part 2, where I had most of that 45, say 40 of them came to that, but I had 20 more want another part 1. So I had an early part 1, brought them into the part 2. Now I got this massive part 2. And then we even did a part 3, which is basically, in the middle of the summer, right? A month out. So here's your last month. This is what you need to do.
Yep.
Boom, boom, boom.
So I do think that
but we filled. Don't cut me off here. Every single, this is key.
That is
all
nice.
30 of
All
them
30.
were filled.
Wow.
And every
Impressive.
one of the candidates that did follow the program didn't just win, they won at the top of their ticket.
All right.
So
that's badass.
yeah, so that is some good stuff. So
that is good stuff. I try to put it all in perspective the best you can. We'd be interested. A lot of people think they know elections and they might not. You might miss something. Even myself, I've been involved in a lot of elections.
Anybody can learn.
You sure can. So I would like something like that. It'd be cool. I think there'd be a pretty good response
well,
here.
we even had, I had longtime politicians in there that basically said, wow, I never thought about doing it that way, So
Deb, have you ever thought that some potentially good candidates out there who aren't active in the back of their mind, they're sitting in their house, go, boy, I wouldn't mind running for that, but I have no idea how.
That's exactly
why
Absolutely.
I
I
can
do
convince
it.
them,
Where,
hey,
how to start.
you come to the GOP, we will help you. We will show you how.
Let's just first have that conversation. And basically I tell them the first thing in the door is I will give away the first thing I say. Ready? So anybody thinking about this is what I'm going to say to you. Does your spouse support this?
Okay.
If your spouse does not support this, there's the door. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money.
Because the
Turn
commitment's
around.
higher than what they
It is
think.
huge, and here's why. So we talk about that, but I don't put pressure on people to do it. I just basically say, let's pick something right for your time frame. Let's pick something right for your personality. Let's pick something right for your skills, and let's pick something right for your experience.
Level of commitment.
If we can put that together, yes, we can put that together. You're going to be happier. You're going to have a better chance of winning.
And you're going to serve your constituents better.
Yes.
And
you
without
will.
scaring people, the commitment to run some of these races, like you said, you better have your spouse on board.
Oh, yeah.
Is all the time.
That's huge. And people don't think about that.
All the time. Kevin and I just brought up last week. I ran for a township position in 9 months. It was all I could think about and all I talked about. My wife had it with me.
I know.
She was supportive, but it was that important. And I think, man, imagine if you're running for state rep or something, the commitment level has to be there, but don't let that scare you. There's a way.
No, yeah, it's scary when you don't know. But I will tell you that once that anybody going through my class afterwards felt like, okay,
Yeah.
now I have the big picture. I don't leave anything out. I don't spend a ton of time on stuff that doesn't matter, or at least doesn't matter at the beginning.
Right.
Because I do it in 2 stages. Let's talk about the beginning. Let's get yourself started. Here's what you need to gather.
I got a
Here's
new
what you need to
candidate
get
could
ready.
use something like that.
Yeah, I could.
I do.
Okay.
Kathy Schmaltz. I talked to Kathy. She cracks me up.
She's
So,
really good.
I'll
Love
text her.
Kathy.
3-4 people's names have popped up over the last couple months who are going to run Challenger. I'll text her. Last one
Mhm.
that I got, text her. She goes, Ross, it doesn't matter. They're all the same. I love that because she's just going to campaign and be Kathy the way she always does.
Yep.
Now a bigger name has appeared, and he is something to worry about. But I was talking to her on the phone the other day. She goes, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, well, like you said, she's already, at a
Established
disadvantage in her area too, as far as
Incumbent.
And she's done a great job. So
So
it's not
what-
like she.
Oh, yeah, she's fantastic.
She's got a bunch of baggage that's going to hurt her.
No.
I know.
Oh, look, she ain't got it. She's as sweet as pie.
Oh,
she
yeah.
is the
She's
nicest
terrific.
person in
But
the
she's
world.
also solid. She's sweet, but
Yeah.
she's not a pushover.
We've had some weird votes back when they're in the minority that, I called her on the phone. But they're in the minority, and that's the game you play. Now they're in the majority. Everybody loves Matt Hall now. You notice that? They were all mad at him when they're in the minority.
I know.
You know what I mean? But same thing with Schmaltz. It's the game they play. You might not like the game. There was a couple weird votes we wish she hadn't done, but there was a method to her madness, and that's been a couple years. But you know what? She goes to every event in this town. It doesn't
Yep.
matter. She was in a parade in my neighborhood Friday night, cold, snowing, everything else. She'll be in town in the worst neighborhoods at an event. She goes everywhere.
We call that she attends the opening of an envelope.
She does. And here it is. She's a sweet, nice person.
Yep.
So there are Democrats that go, I really like
I
her.
like her,
And they
yes.
switch over in this +2 Dem seat.
That's good.
They switch. And that's the way she works it. You can't deny.
Good.
Now, there's other state reps in the state. Well, I'm in a 50-50 district, and I have a better conservative tone than say Kathy or a voting record. And I'm like, yeah, maybe you're right, Rep so-and-so. Guarantee you wouldn't win in that district that you're here in Jackson. Not just because the numbers are similar doesn't mean that they're winnable.
No,
Each one has their own personality,
absolutely.
And she's born and
Absolutely.
raised here. She used to be on the news. So us old people
Yep.
remember when she was the
Okay.
newscaster.
All right.
The young people don't. Kevin probably
I don't
doesn't
remember.
I'll tell you another thing with Kathy. I could call her on the phone and say, hey, we're a little short on money. We need our chamber membership paid or whatever. Boom, money's right there.
Good.
She's always there for us. Never not. So I super appreciate it. And that's a tough seat. So, we're going to go at it. But we did have a candidate approach us. We were surprised for House seat 48, Southern Jackson County, Southern Washtenaw. It's a +2 or 3 Dem seat. He's an attorney from Washtenaw County. And I think he's sharp enough to win. I am worried about his work ethic so far.
And this is for what district?
48. Oh, 47,
no,
right?
I was going to
47.
say, no.
I'm sorry,
no.
47. Let me tell
She's
you.
like, wait a minute, wait a
I'm
minute.
still trying to figure it out. 47. So
Yeah,
yes.
all right. I was-
Southern.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
you know what I
Right in.
found, Deb? That since a Democrat, and by the way, she's an extremist, won
Oh,
that
crazy one.
after redistricting.
Mhm.
She won that. Some people that live in those townships don't even realize that they're being represented by a
Mhm.
Democrat. And when I introduced him to some, I was like, by the way, if you live in these 5 townships, you're being represented by a Democrat, and they're looking at
Mhm.
me. And there's a little bit of an education here because they slipped her in during redistricting, and they go back to the day when we just had both Republican.
Right.
But he's a sharp
let me step for a second. I think that it's important for people to understand, 'cause I'm reading some of your comments here, and I've heard them myself. And it's this, and it's you say this such good things about this politician or that, but nothing's getting fixed, nothing's getting done. What has she done? What has he done?
Yeah.
Let me explain again about the Senate Majority Leader,
Right.
and the Speaker of the House and the Governor. There's 3 chambers. All 3 must be in agreement for something to get
and they're
done.
not.
You
Yep.
can have the single best legislator, whether it's a senator or not. And if you don't have, as a Republican, If you don't have all three, you're not getting stuff done. You're going to just be nothing. They are only going to approve what you can compromise on. So when you said Kathy's odd vote, well, that's because Kathy got something better than she gave up. That's the only way to get it.
Somewhere down the line.
Governor Whitmer will not sign a Republican bill unless there's a Democrat on it. What I used to have to do is my boss would say, all right, I want to get this done. All right, I'd have to think of a way to divide that bill into two and then tie bar them together, which means one can't pass without the other. And then I would go find, say, the chair of that committee. So if it was health or if it was, military or whatever, you go find the chair and you say, all right, well, in the Democrat, you'd say, the Democrat here, would you be interested in passing this bill? They're tie barred together. We get them done. We move it along. Governor Whitmer and the Senate, then it goes to the Senate, and they're Democrats too.
Right.
So if there's no Democrat on that bill, it dies. So we had to do it that way, and then Governor Whitmer will sign it. So when you say we don't get things done, you can't. Numbers are numbers. Math is math. It's not even politics. Yeah. It's math. If you've got more Democrats in the House than you have Republicans,
there it is.
Or if you have
it's a numbers game.
If you have more Senate or Democrat senators, right now the Republicans have more. We have control of the House. The Democrats have control of the Senate, and the Democrat is the governor. Nobody can do anything without agreement on all three.
You're right.
So,
and that's the problem.
That's it. So it's not like there's no excuses out of it. That's just the law.
That's exactly why we had a government shutdown for.
That's right. Because the Republicans weren't going to budge.
Yeah,
that's right.
Plus, there's a filibuster involved with that.
Yeah, the federal level, the whole thing.
Yeah.
No, I don't think anybody's stupid. What I think is that people don't understand, or maybe I'll say this: if you think that you have the ability, or your guy has the ability, when in the minority, to pound their way through something, then you are stupid.
Yeah,
so you don't get it. It's not a strategic plan. It is the law.
The current state budget. Okay, Matt Hall and those guys, they found a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse. The Coast employees and all that. Okay, great. It doesn't matter if it's black and white or not. Whatever they developed in the state budget, they had to sell it to the state Senate, which are Democrats, and signed by the Democratic governor. And guess what? We didn't get everything we wanted, but we did get a little bit because there was a negotiation there. When you're a majority in one chamber, that's it. That's it. That's why it's important to have a majority in all three.
That's right. Chambers. And if you want every one of your legislators' stuff to pass, there's one way to do it. Get off your butt, go knock on doors, go donate to these candidates, make sure that the Republicans have majority. Then you get what you want. Because when the Republican House puts something out, the Republican Senate approves it, then it goes to the Republican governor and he signs it. Bob's your uncle right there.
Wapple dopple, there it is.
That's how it works.
Right. Pretty straightforward.
But if you've got a Democrat governor, the House and the Senate can agree all day long. It goes to the Republican and it's a veto.
At least the Democrats controlling the state House right now gives us baby steps of getting things done. You're just not going to get them all the way done. When we're in the minority across the board, absolutely nothing got done.
You got people that have no clue legally how that works, and they're pounding on the table saying, but you're not getting anything done. It's, you try to educate, and that's all you can do. It's not, this is not like the way wink, wink, nudge, nudge, it gets done. That's the law. You have to have majority to win. That's why majority is huge. This is why we all pound on it. So
that's what a democracy is.
You don't understand, I guess. I'm not going to educate anybody.
What they don't like is the stalemate of politics.
Right.
So if you cured cancer and the Republicans went to the Senate and said, hey, Democratic Senate, we cured cancer. Unfortunately, you're still not getting anywhere. But I think that's what people get frustrated at. If you've got a great bill and you present it to the Senate, there's more than likely that's the game played. So I think that's where the frustration lies. And plus understanding why our state house isn't getting things done as much as you think they should. They've gotten done more than if they were in the minority.
That's right.
You know,
That's right. I know for 23, and I mean, look at the laws that were passed 23 and 24.
Yeah.
We had no majority at all. We couldn't stop anything.
No.
They just rammed everything
yeah,
through.
at least now
So,
when the state Senate brings something
Yeah.
down to the state House, some wackadoo Democrat legislation, our state House can stop it.
right.
It's got to
Right.
pass. People maybe don't understand. You got to pass all three chambers to get something across the finish
Right.
line. Just because you whipped it up,
You
and
don't get yes. And here's the thing. I mean, the law for those who understand it. A legislator writes a bill. Any legislator can write any bill. Perfectly fine. You get that bill, it gets enrolled. The clerk reads it off in a House session, and it gets assigned to a committee. Guess what? If you are in a minority, the committee chair is the Democrat. The committee chair never has to bring that up if he doesn't.
Remember
want to
when they were in the minority,
Oh,
watching the
man.
videos
Oh, it was
of
awful.
gabbled down the dumbest
Gabbled
stuff,
out. That's
gavel,
right.
gavel,
That's right.
gavel.
That's right. And they can't, and it'll die in committee.
Yeah.
It's anybody
But
that
we
wants to,
control
anybody interested, go to michiganlegislature.gov
Yeah.
and go look up all the just look at all the bills that never go anywhere. They're stuck in committee because the committee chair doesn't want to do it. So anyway, let's go. Let's get you fight like a dog for your primary candidate. But
Right.
once that primary's over, fight like a dog against
Please,
the Democrat
please,
candidate.
it's important.
Yes,
it's
very
extremely
And
important.
that's how we sign.
Yep.
Yeah, and
And,
I just want to mention one thing. One of the comments was basically is that it can't always be tit for tat. It must always be what is best for your community. Although we can agree with that, unfortunately, that's not the way that it works. Yeah, I mean, one person can think that's best for their community, but if you have a bunch of people on the other side of the aisle against you, it's never going to get done.
Because it wasn't their idea.
Exactly,
yes,
or it's not their community.
Well, and here's the thing. What's interesting is, something else that I think people don't understand is there's a lot of stuff that gets voted on and it's unanimous. Someone wants to put a license plate or
Sure. Memorize a highway for a dead soldier or whatever.
Yes,
right.
or everybody agrees on this and it's votes unanimous. But the problem is the big reforms that we were talking about there, everybody might want something better. And I believe really that Republican and Democrats, they do want kind of the same things. They want people taken care of. They want
want
this
roads
stuff,
fixed.
but they have different ways to go about it. We believe it should be done this way. They believe it should be, be done this way. And they're never, ever, ever going to cave to that,
It's been that way for a very, very long time.
Yeah, I mean, as long as I
So,
can
Deb, we're going to bring you to Jackson. Maybe I'll
Sure.
reach out to you, maybe
Would love to.
February or so on a campaign effort class that
Sure.
you hold.
Sure.
We're going to wrap up. I usually have some announcements that I'll fire through real quick here. Just sit there and hang out with us.
Okay.
I didn't write any announcements down, Kevin, so I'm going to wing it.
Okay, you go ahead and wait.
tonight-
I'll pull up the website.
There you go.
That'll be helpful.
Tonight is the AFP Christmas party at the Grand River Brewery at 6:00. So that's free to attend.
Nice.
AFP likes to feed people. That's what they do.
They
feed
got good
people.
food at Grand River
Awesome.
too.
And so then Thursday night is our executive committee meeting, and we have an Under the Oak speaker series at 6. You all know that our meeting's at 7, but the hour before we do a speaker series event, and it's going to be right there. Lance Griffin from 10X Votes going to come here and just explain to you this website is designed easily for anybody. Your neighbors, whatever, jump on, identify your friends, family, and neighbors who didn't vote. That guy that's got the Trump flag hanging from his pontoon down from me, you notice he didn't vote in 24. And so you can nicely go to him and say, hey, Joe Schmo, why didn't you vote? So
You got 9 days now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's no reason. So the goal here is to identify 10 people in your circle and approach them to see what it takes for them to vote and how important it is. And that's designed for not just political junkies like me, for anybody to do. It's an easy website. So he'll be here. Our speaker series events are $12. That includes pizza and a beverage. And as you all know, as much as I'd like to provide this for free, and sometimes we do, our speaker series are a fundraiser. We do have bills to pay. That's how the rent gets paid. So it's only $12, and we've done them for a very long time. Saturday, though, is our Christmas party.
Nice.
Is it on there? We changed the time.
Is that it?
2 to 4?
Yep, 2 to 4.
2 to 4. Right here in the Jackson GOP suite. It's free. Just come on up. hang out with us. I don't mean this rudely, but the old ladies will make some yummy food. We have some volunteers that make great food, rice pudding and great soups and whatever they do, you know.
Great,
but it's free. And of course, there's plenty of beverage. And then we even throw in there, if you want alcohol, bring your own booze. We don't care. You can do that up here. Our treasurer, who won't be here, she brings her own booze. It's usually in the freezer. But 2 to 4 on Saturday, a little get together for Christmas. So we got a lot going on this week.
And although he didn't bring it up last week either. Bring a toy for the Toys for Tots drive that day.
Tot for Christmas.
Because you're like, it's free, but then it says on the flyer to bring a toy to get in.
Yeah. You know, if you don't bring a toy, we'll probably let you in. But you don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
That reminds me, I got to go buy a toy, Kevin.
Oh, yeah, well.
I'm going Christmas shopping with Grandma tomorrow.
Oh, so you should probably do that.
I'll buy a toy. She's going to buy me a new comforter.
Never bought me a toy.
That's what Mom does. You know, Mom still buys stuff.
You know, we love doing that.
She's seen my comforter and she goes, "That's got no more poop in it. You got to have a new comforter." I'm like, "Okay, Mom, let's do that. All you got to do is take me." So,
Grandma Betty does that to me every year.
Worry about my comforter.
Yeah.
My sons are hunters, and you know, I'm constantly looking. I was scrolling on TikTok and saw the chest pack, like a backpack, but on the chest where you can put everything in your phone. And, oh my gosh, I sent that to him and he loves it. You know, just things like that we love doing.
So we have a busy week. Then after that, it quiets down through the holidays, and we haven't scheduled a January speaker series guest yet. But I think I'm really hoping that it will be Anthony. No, we're not going to do those candidates because in January 17th, we have the candidate forum. Okay. And I have booked all the candidates for AG and SOS. They're going to come here, not a debate. It's like a 2 or 3 question forum thing. All of them are going to be here. And that's like 10 in the morning, 11 in the morning. And the ladies are going to serve some breakfast we're going to have. And
do you people not stay out past 6 o'clock at night? Everything you do is in the day, including your podcast.
I tell you.
Welcome to my life.
I tell you. We do some nights, but it's mostly me. I'm like, can we do a Saturday morning? You know, it must be getting old.
And every time he brings up a Saturday morning, I'm like, morning.
I used to own a bar. At 2 a.m. and Kevin's comes from that industry. And matter of fact, he managed my place, and I'm in bed early nowadays. My days of that but no, we do our speaker series at 7, and I think we're going to skip that in January because of the candidate forum. So that'll be fun. That's on January 17th, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning. And that's on where, Kevin?
JXNGOP.org.
That's it. By the way,
is that going to be the convention delegate or convention candidate?
Yes. Okay. That's the goal. So everybody can get familiar with those candidates leading into the county and state convention, which one's in February, one's in March, right? So that's the goal here. We will try to get Anthony Ferlini for Secretary of State on the show.
He's the only one we haven't had, so.
Yep. So we will. I seen him Saturday, and I put him in that box, so we'll get him on here. Maybe next week. If not, it'll be before the convention. Well,
we have, just let me give a little shout out here on our podcast. As I said, you can go to the Livingston County Republican Party Facebook, or you can go at the right side Livingston on YouTube. And we have the new vice chair tomorrow. We got Sonny Reddy coming on.
Oh, do you?
About his new role.
I like her.
And Sonny. I've got the following week. I've got.
Is Sonny going to be on the podcast?
Oh yeah, he's.
You got to tune your ears into his Indian accent. But
that's all
right. A couple minutes in, you're like, okay, I'm on.
We have. Let me make sure I get the right. Okay, we have Genevieve Peters Scott. I can never remember Scott Peters or Peter Scott. We've heard the following week, so we're going to have some people come in and talk about their.
And Genevieve's candidate for U.S. Senate.
Yeah.
And so that's a good way to get to know those names you might have never heard of.
Yeah, I put that your YouTube link in the chat, and it's also in the description under the video.
I'm going to start sending you our flyers. We make a flyer every single week.
So we started this a while back with our website. We have a great website designer, Chris. He's just really stepped up the game compared to what we used to have. Yeah. And so we do the Right Side podcast. Of course, this podcast, Rescue Michigan.
Look at them. Look at them all.
Yeah, right there. Michigan Matters. That's Mark Fortin over in Macomb. And then Star Stripes and Straight Talk. Those are a couple members here.
Oh, I love that.
Even Perithian Action with Susan Kinkinda. But so if you can't read Grassroots Army, although he's done, But if you can't remember what podcast, you can just go jacksongop.org. You click on, and you can catch up to Pat's podcast.
Sure.
Of Livingston County. It goes back in time for you.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. We have been aggressive at always promoting our website.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful website.
Yeah,
it is a beautiful website.
Oh, we used to have a clunky,
that's something
weird
probably
one.
I need to. Now you've embarrassed me. I have to step up my game. Promote ours.
There's a time where a guy, Chris, was going to do other counties' websites, and he's like, "No, I'm not going to do that." I'm like, "Come on, Chris." It's a handful. It's a handful.
It's a reason why it's expensive to hire somebody to do that.
You know, we had Jessica Bearfield doing ours, and so she did a great job. And then all of a sudden her schedule kind of got a little busy. So
it is. I seen her Saturday. She was stressed.
Oh yeah, well,
she was stressed. But
she takes. She's a member of our party, and she is very very specific. She's very focused. She wants things to be perfect. So that was great. We benefited.
So when you get a person like Jessica, Monroe's got this Hollyville ad down there, just unbelievable. Jackson does have that, but they tend to be close to 80.
Yeah.
So where you take Jessica, she's like the perfect age. Not that she's young. She's not old. Same thing with Holly.
She's young to me.
Yeah, I feel that way too. But yeah, she's a superstar. And,
she is. But she's, but she's very, very, she likes things done right.
I'm sure she does.
So that's why she stresses, because she wants it all run right. But yeah, her time got really thin. So we sadly we got a different volunteer.
I don't know how long.
Although I have to say, he's doing a good job too. So we did not lose out.
I had to talk to her about something Saturday, and she was stressed, and it's without saying it, because Jessica's a nice.
She will not say that. Yes.
I could tell she was about ready to walk out the door.
Every day you think about it. I've been there.
Yeah.
Been there.
All right, let's wrap it up, Kevin.
All right, guys, make sure you like the stream, follow the channel if you're not already.
Thanks for having me.
Go and check out Deb's podcast, The Right Side Livingston, right?
Right Side Podcast.
Right Side Podcast. Put the
it's the Right Side - Livingston. He had it right.
Okay. Yeah, I was reading the YouTube link.
Yep.
So go and follow them and do all the things you know to do, guys. And other than that, we'll be back next Monday.
Just you and I, Kevin. You never know.
Who knows?
Those aren't bad shows.
Yeah, just show up. We'll be here.
People are lining up because of this candidate thing right now.
Well, we're coming up on the election.
Well, I'm going to get hold. Like I said, I'm having a meeting with Brian on Monday.
I'd love to have Brian on.
Yeah. Oh, Brian.
Just give me my phone number.
Yeah, I will.
I would love to have him. So.
And he's very interesting, and he's very, upbeat, and he's very energetic. You'll like him.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you very much, Deb. Nice meeting you, and we will see you guys next Monday.
You've been listening to a Grandma's Boy Media Production. Welcome to the Stick to the Plan podcast. Michigan's elite political podcast is about to begin, live from the birthplace of the Republican Party. Let's gather under the oaks like our forefathers did. Now more than ever, it's time to stick to the plan. You've been listening to a Grandma's Boy Media Production.